Gentlemen and female gentlemen, JD Vance is probably calling it now the next president of the United States of America. Now, I have been saying ever since his Joe Rogan interview that this guy is a goddamn machine when he gets interviewed and when he talks. I heard he absolutely brutally demolishes someone who makes believe they're a reporter but is actually an activist. I know, that's a terrible word. All activists are kind of shit, so... You tell me they're an activist, I immediately picture vegan, half-naked person in a rally gluing themselves to your mom's ass. Right? That is literally what I picture when you say activist. But anyway, apparently he gets, like, pulled into a ton of gotcha moments, and he literally fucking smacks down every single question. Now, I have not watched this yet, but I heard it's a banger. I'm very excited to see what future president of the United States is going to say. A lot of people are now saying that he has a really good shot of winning the next election, which is fucking insane. Because I thought Trump was going to run again. All right, anyway, let's see what this is all about. Activism is low-level terrorism. Honestly, that is one of the greatest lines I've ever heard, chat. Shout out to you.
Hegseth, it was a tie. Bipartisan opposition, smallest margin since the job was created. You had to break that tie. If the nominee can't unite your party, how's he going to lead 3 million people?
Well, look, I think Pete is a disruptor, and a lot of people don't like that disruption, but Margaret, that disruption is incredibly necessary. If you think about all of those bipartisan massive votes, we have to ask ourselves, what did they get us? They got us a country where we fought many wars over the last 40 years, but haven't won a war.
Ew, that's an L, that's an L. America L.
About as long as I've been alive. They've got us a military with a major recruitment crisis, a procurement crisis that's totally dysfunctional, where we buy airplanes for billions and billions of dollars, terrible cost overruns, the delivery dates are always delayed. So we need a big change. Now, admittedly, there are people who don't like that big change, but it is necessary, and it's explicitly what Donald J. Trump ran on, and I think part of the reason why the American people elected him their 47th president.
Dude, he answers things so professionally. So professionally. That's crazy.
The main objective is changing all of that?
Like, it's, you can immediately tell just by, like, the first thing she says that she's there for the gotcha moment. She wants a big-ass gotcha moment to bring eyes to her show. And the fact that he's actually putting up with this, even though let me paint the picture for you, okay? Before someone gets elected, they need to go on all these shows because people need to see them. They need to be everywhere. They need to make people want to vote for them. After they're elected, the only reason why someone would do these shows is good faith. There's no reason to do this. Biden's never done it. I've never seen that Muppet get wobbled around the freaking Coliseum. Nah. But they bring lions out to these motherfuckers, and they stand up to the challenge. I don't know. Trump is the guy that'll tell her, humbly fuck yourself with a toothbrush in your vagina, your pussy vagina with a toothbrush. That's what Trump would say. All right? Vance is a little more polite about it.
It's going to be Pete Hegseth alone?
I'd say the main problem the main thing that we want Pete Hegseth to do is to fix the problems at the Department of Defense. And unfortunately, there are many. We've gotten into way too many wars that we don't have a plan for winning. We've gotten into way too many misadventures.
What do you mean plan for winning? They didn't want a single one of these wars to start. Every single war started on someone else's term. Like, they have so much mess to clean up right now. It's insane.
That we shouldn't have got into in the very...
And people are literally saying, the price of eggs didn't go down. It's been a week since you've been president. All right, dude. Let's remember why the price of eggs are up. All right, okay.
First place, and our procurement process, Margaret, is incredibly broken. We're in an era... Well, of course they're policy decisions, but
you just interrupted him? Nani?
They're also logistical and implementation decisions. If you look at where we are with the rise of artificial intelligence, with the rise of...
Oh God, China got a massive W over the last day. Holy shit.
Technology and drone warfare. We have to
I love how China... Okay, so China recently released this AI thing that's literally huge, and it's more cost effective than the ones the Americans are working on. And the funniest thing is, I saw someone say, like, this is why it's important to be innovative, because the enemy is also powerful and advanced. And people were like, you're calling them the enemy? That's racist. And it's like, oh my fucking God. You people are all brain dead. You're all fucking morons.
Really, top to bottom, change the way that we fund the procurement of weapons, the way that we arm our troops. This is a major period of disruption, and we think Pete Hegseth is the guy to lead the job. Now, there's another element to this, Margaret, too, which is we believe that military morale, at least until the election of President Trump, was historically low.
I mean, I think he's right. I know people that were in the military, and I think morale was insanely low.
You had the Army missing recruitment goals by tens of thousands of soldiers, and already recruitment is starting to pick up.
Especially because you have fucking idiots on Twitch, for example, literally shitting on American soldiers. You got people like Frogan. All right, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna even pull up the clip. I am doing an activism, guys. I am doing an activism. Look at me. Look at me. I'm doing an activism. This is a clip that went viral on Twitch, the gaming platform owned by Amazon. Okay? She did not get banned for this.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers.
What?
Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
Wow. Wow. Not banned for this, by the way. On the biggest streaming platform in the world, by the way.
You know?
I've never seen a clip of her speaking when she wasn't eating at the same time. It's pretty crazy.
I do, the ones I
This clip goes hard on mute.
the ones I'm like, whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. I'm like a Tom. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. The U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, fuck imperialism. Fuck this. You don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. Like, oh my God, I want my fucking Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into fucking America.
So there is good news. Her life expectancy is a lot lower than mine due to her incredible weight. Now, I don't want her to die, obviously, but heartbreaking news. Frogan has been found alive in 2025. It's a terrible time. But anyway, that was a joke. That was a joke. Not wishing death on anybody here. But this is like a gloriously piece of shit maneuver. And she is in the most loved political sphere on Twitch. Okay, she's besties with Hassan. All right, she's up there. When you have people talking about shit like that on a massive platform without repercussions, you really wonder why there's low morale for soldiers?
Because Pete Hegseth is fundamentally a warfighter's leader at the Department of Defense. He is a guy who sees not through the perspective of the generals or the bureaucrats. He looks at things through the perspective of the men and women that we send off to fight in our wars.
Both the Wall Street Journal and the National Review, conservative publications, as you know, have been critical of Tulsi Gabbard. The Review called her an atrocious nominee who deserves to be defeated. They compared her defense of Edward Snowden, the fugitive who stole U.S. secrets, to an attorney general who thinks the mob gets a bad rap. Her refusal to accept U.S. intelligence findings that Assad gassed his own people, they said, was like a nominee for OMB director not being able to count. Does any of this give you pause putting her in charge of the U.S. intelligence community? Yes or no?
It's so despicable when they ask an incredibly loaded question, like a wildly loaded question, saying that quoting 3 different articles that call someone out, and then yes or no. God.
No, Margaret, look, these are publications that attacked Donald J. Trump obsessively.
All right, so he immediately hits the foundation of what her argument's on. God damn! This guy's a machine!
But those publications
Are you morally regretful about this? Do you stand by evil?
don't determine who the president is, the
And
American
ultimately
people
supported
do.
him.
And
Why does she keep interrupting him?
Donald J. Trump is the person who determines who his cabinet is, not these publications that I think, frankly, have lost relevance.
Oh! Oh! He murdered her. He murdered her. Quite frankly, these publications are worthless. And so are you, by the way. Just saying.
Here's Tulsi Gabbard's. Well, the Senate will provide advice.
That fake smile is insane. I'm shocked. I thought this was an interview. This isn't it. She's literally trying to gotcha him every 2 seconds.
Advice and consent, as is its constitutional obligation, but I feel confident that Tulsi Gabbard will ultimately get through. 2 things that are important to know about Tulsi. First of all, she is a career military servant who's had a classification at the highest levels for nearly 2 decades. She has impeccable character, impeccable record of service, and she also is a person who I think is going to bring some trust back to the intelligence services. The bureaucrats at our intelligence services have got...
That's high praise.
Gotten completely out of control. They've been part of the weaponization of our political system, the weaponization of our justice system. We need to have good intelligence services who keep us safe, but part of that is restoring trust in those services, and we think Tulsi's the right person to do it. That's why.
Again, interrupted. This is unbelievable. Our next question for you, Mr. JD Vance. Yes or no only. When did you stop beating your wife? I've never done that. I said yes or no only, Mr. Vance. This is unbelievable. I love how she's attacking Tulsi Gabbard based on some publications. With all due respect, bitch. I mean, woman. That was a Freudian slip. You do realize that those journals all predicted Kamala Harris winning by a landslide victory? Their credibility is zero, just like yours. No offense. Boss is not having it today. I told you, when I'm sick, I'm meaner. That's why my editor is going to clean this up. He's going to put a bow on me. I'm going to look glorious and glamorous, ladies and gentlemen.
The
Doesn't trust
president.
those intelligence services.
She recognizes
That the fake smile gets me every time, too.
the bureaucrats have gotten out of control, and we need somebody there who's going to rein them in and return those services to their core mission of identifying information that's going to keep us safe.
You campaigned on lowering prices for consumers. We've seen
Immediately moves on to the next topic. Nice.
all of these executive orders. Which one lowers prices?
Such a fucking bullshit question every single time. It's so frustrating to hear. Look, I am a politically illiterate, blue, idiot asshole douche fuck on the internet. And I know the answers to these questions and how manipulative they all are. I love how she's asking, which executive order was it? Well, there wasn't a specific executive order that specifically lowers prices, dumb fuck McGee. But you know what was? There was the drill baby drill, or executive order about getting gases, you know? Getting more oil helps in a million ways. It helps delivery trucks get oil for cheaper, which delivers produce at a cheaper rate. So that produce's value will go down. What? That's crazy. And you know what? There were a ton of different executive orders that were literally like that, designed to hit different areas of the system in order to hopefully help the economy as a whole. What the fuck did you expect him to sign an executive order to lower the price of eggs? That's not how the economy works. But she's an activist for a living. How the fuck is she supposed to know?
We have done a lot, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already jobs to start coming back into our
Bro, getting rid of illegal immigrants. Guess who is going to do the work that the illegal immigrants were doing? And any takers? Oh, the citizens? What? That's crazy. Like, again, this question is such a stupid fucking question.
our country, which is a core part of lowering prices.
I'm so glad he actually responds like, normally.
Capital investment, more job creation in our economy is one of the things that's going to drive down prices for all consumers, but also raise wages so that people can afford to buy the things that they need. If you look at our
grocery prices
slate
aren't gonna
of
come
executive orders,
It's so infuriating. Dude, holy shit. She will never, ever, ever get another interview this high profile ever again. Why did you just say so grocery prices will not go down? What do you mean? Of course they will, eventually, or they won't, and everyone makes more money, which ultimately is the same thing. Holy crap.
no, Margaret, prices are going to come down.
He's actually like, it's impressive how he's maintaining it cool. Bro, in 4 years, when he's president, we will come back to this moment to say that Nux told you so.
But it's going to take a little bit of time, right? The president has been president for all of 5 days.
Oh my God, Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch.
I think that in those 5 days, he's accomplished more than Joe Biden did in 4 years. It's been an incredible breakneck pace of activity. We're going to work with Congress. We're, of course, going to have more executive orders, and we're going to try, the way that you lower prices is that you encourage more capital investment into our country. And you ask specifically, what executive order is going to help lower prices? All of the stuff that we've done on energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You hit one part of the chain and it all gets better.
To explore more energy reserves.
I just want to make this clear. I don't think the prices are going to go down. This is just an incredibly cynical moment because I'm a fucking cynic. I don't think prices are going to go down. I hope they don't continue to inflate, but I don't think they will go down. That said, the question of which order is lowering prices, that question is a bullshit bitch-ass question.
To develop more energy resources in the United States of America. one of the main drivers of increased prices under the Biden administration is that we had a massive increase in energy prices. Donald Trump has already taken multiple executive actions that are going to lower energy prices, and I do believe that means consumers are going to see lower prices at the pump and at the grocery store, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and while we've done a whole lot, we can't undo all of the damage of Joe Biden's presidency in 4 days.
Well, there are a lot of things that contributed to higher energy prices, and there was record oil and gas production.
Yes, Joe
Why does she keep trying to gotcha him? At least let him answer the fucking question, lady.
And did many terrible things.
The price of eggs! The price of eggs! Bro, guys,
to lead to an increase in prices, I agree, Margaret.
No, but all the things you experience at the grocery store are what people touch and feel. That's what
the things you experience in the grocery store. Lady, you haven't gone to the grocery store ever. One of your maids probably goes to the grocery store for you. What are you doing?
You were talking about bacon on the campaign.
She's trying so hard to farm a good viral clip, sticking it to him, and it's not working.
Of course, of course.
Those things, when do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store?
The supply chain, ladies and gentlemen. I told you. Yes. How does it get there? Who delivers it? Do they pay for gas?
Comes on trucks.
Guys, every time you think you hate the media, I would like you to note that you don't hate the media enough. But you know who's not the mainstream media? That's right, this dumbass blue motherfucker. I'm out here, make fun of all these fucking morons out here. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something incredibly controversial. I don't say grape, okay? I don't say grape. I say rape. I'm not one of these fucking fake ass censored people. Oh, those R words. Bro, only retards don't say the word retard. But come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come, get out of here. Gasp. Dude, every time I open up somebody talking, it literally just gives me like a whole ass aneurysm.
That are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too...
Oh my God, he unalived himself. Yeah, right? Yeah, right. You unalived himself. You want to make me unalive myself.
Expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So
I love how he's explaining this like it's literally ABCs. That's right, lady. I, the Jew, knows more about bacon than you do. How does that make you feel? Hopefully stupid.
Lower energy prices, we are going to...
How do we grow the bacon? Oh my God.
See lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
Well, the flurry of executive orders, most of them weren't about the economy.
He literally just explained. He literally just... Nux is defending both sides like it's nothing. That's what we do here. If you're going to be offended if I make fun of your side, if your side does something stupid, then you're in the wrong place. All right? Listen, I'm here for the chaos.
Many of them
were, though, Margaret. We had...
I'm so happy he's not letting her just glance by on that. She said you had no executive order. He explained why a bunch of them were yes, and she's like, so most of them weren't. And he doesn't actually let her skate away on that shit.
I think that we've
taken over... a promise of tariffs by February 1st.
We've taken over 200 executive actions, some executive orders, other executive actions. Again, this is in less than a week, and a lot of them were focused on the economy, bringing investment into our country and lowering energy prices. We've also focused on safety, restoring public safety, ending weaponization of the Department of Justice. We've done a lot.
These are all good things. It's like she's saying that, yes, you stopped rapists from raping. However, that isn't directly going to help the economy. Oh my fucking God. Do you know what a housing crisis is? Do you know that when there's too many people that want houses, it makes the housing market go bananas and houses get more expensive? So if you're aware of that, then you would know that when the illegal immigrants that are, by the way, also living in houses, when they are no longer going to be living in those houses, then there's going to be more houses for citizens, thereby lowering the prices of real estate for the average American. Are you aware that that also helps the economy, Mrs. Douche-Faced Pencil Fuck? Probably not.
A lot. And I think the president is to be commended for actually coming in and doing something with this incredible mandate the American people gave.
Like, he knows at this point he's talking to a bad actress. He literally knows at this point that he is talking to someone evil. Or not evil, but obviously some sort of virtue signaling activist. And he's still trying to make her say what Trump did is commendable.
He's not sitting in the Oval Office doing nothing. He's doing the American people's business, and I think they're going to see a lot of good
We will be renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of Bacon.
Effects from it.
Well, a lot of these announcements have yet to take effect.
Sure.
The president did say he wants to do something with an executive order in relation to federal emergency response. He said he may...
Oh, she just keeps segueing topics. It's like she loses the battle in one topic, immediately just mentions another topic.
reform or eliminate FEMA. Instead of sending emergency responders, he may start to send a percentage of money to states to take care of themselves. But you know, FEMA has specialized expertise that some of these states just don't have in
Margaret,
their arsenal. And
I wish
how
that they...
will states who are
Are you trying to interrupt the interviewer? She's an interviewer after all, and you have the audacity to interrupt a woman? That's very mansplaining of you.
lower income states, the Mississippis, the Kentuckys,
disgusting.
the Alabamas, be able to do this for themselves without federal help?
Well, the president, to be clear, is not saying we're going to leave anybody behind. He's saying that the way that we administer these resources, some of which is coming from the federal level, some of which is coming from the state level.
Does she not think there's corruption in these massive government organizations? Like, does she actually think that, or is it just a talking point to make Trump look bad?
Well, we've got to get the bureaucrats out of the way and get the aid to the people who need it most.
But these are the
Margaret,
funders.
you talk about the
Margaret, you're a hoe, you're a bitch.
expertise from FEMA. FEMA in North Carolina, in California, in Florida with some of the hurricanes has often been a disaster. And it's not because we don't have good people at FEMA, it's because bureaucratic red tape and garbage prevents the rapid deployment of resources to the people who need it most.
But the states are now going to have to do this themselves?
The president is trying to encourage us to reform the way that we deliver emergency response in a way that gets resources to the people who need it.
So don't take him literally.
Why is she trying to put words in his mouth this badly? He's saying that FEMA fucked up, which they did. He's then saying that they want to reform it. So she's trying to get him to say that the president's a liar?
Is what you're saying.
We should take the president at his word that FEMA needs desperate reform, because it does. Margaret, when I went to North Carolina as VP-elect, but before we were sworn in.
I cannot believe this man is a machine. It is wild that he is dealing with these bad faith questions, navigating that shit. Wow, bro.
People would talk about how FEMA would get resources, food, medicine, water to a warehouse, but then would have no plan to get it from the warehouse to the people in the mountains who were literally starving and thirsting to death. We can do so much better, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we will.
But they work with the state and local officials.
They often don't work well enough. And again, that's...
It's a system that's broken, and they have proof it's broken. They're the ones that didn't do good hurricane relief when there was a hurricane, okay? Like, bro, yes, there are issues. What, you think because it's working with the state, it's automatically a well-oiled machine?
Not be on the state and local officials?
No, the FEMA management officials don't work well enough with the state and local officials to get resources to the people who need it. We should expect, and this is, I think, one of the fundamental premises of President Trump's leadership, the American people should expect more of their government. When there's a terrible disaster, they should expect food, medicine, and water to get to the people who need it. When there's a terrible fire in California, the fire hydrants all...
Oh, he's explaining like basic shit to her, like she's a retarded child. Listen, when there's a fire, we should have water to put it out. Somehow there was no water. That was weird. That was weird, Margaret.
Actually turn on. I am sick of the American people having such low expectations for their government. They should demand more of us because this is the greatest country in the world. And
oh my God, he's cooking her.
That's what Donald Trump's leadership promises to bring back.
So still count on the federal government, but watch that space.
I love how she needs so badly to get the last word in. She re-says his sentence in the most disingenuous fucking baby terminology I've ever heard. He'll say something that makes a lot of sense, and she'll respond with, "So don't trust the government, gotcha."
Let me ask you about another area that you campaigned on quite a lot, and there was a flurry of activity on, and that has to do with immigration.
Sure.
Oh God, immigration, here we go. I love the immigration debate because it always comes down to emotional retards versus law chads. That's basically what it comes down to 99% of the time these days.
The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops this week condemned some of the executive orders.
The bishop condemned it, guys! Are you serious? They're really bringing her up? Oh my God. That's crazy. You're not ready for, I made an entire video on that woke bishop situation if you want to check it out. Moving on.
Signed by President Trump, specifically those allowing immigration and customs enforcement to enter churches and to enter schools. Do you personally support the idea of conducting a raid or enforcement action in a church service?
Yes, absolutely. I hope he says yes. God, he would have so many balls. So many balls, all the balls, if you would just say yes. Just say yes, bro.
At a school?
Well, let me address that.
All right, he's going to say it nicer than I would. Yes! Lady, with all due respect, if you were in a church, which you probably aren't, let's be real, but if you were in a church and sitting next to you in the church was an illegal immigrant rapist pedophile, would you want him to get arrested? I'm not saying that that is what these illegal immigrants are, but hypothetically, if there was an illegal immigrant rapist pedophile that was sitting next to you in the church, would you want the police to arrest that person? Yes. Really interesting.
So of course, if you have a person who is convicted of a violent crime, whether they're an illegal immigrant or a non-illegal immigrant, you have to go and get that person to protect the public safety.
Again, he explains it like he's actually talking to a toddler. But yes, obviously.
That's not unique to immigration. But let me just...
This is anyone. This is a violent person. Should we arrest murderers if they're in churches? Yes! Yes! In fact, the churches should rat them out. What are you talking about?
Just address the...
Dude, bro, really? Since when have Christians really been the number one on your agenda list?
This particular issue, Margaret, because as a practicing Catholic, I was actually heartbroken by...
God damn!
That statement. And I think that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops needs to actually look in the mirror a little bit and recognize that when they receive over $100 million to help resettle illegal immigrants, are they worried about humanitarian concerns or are they actually worried about their bottom line?
Oh my God! He's cooking everyone! He's just saying what he thinks and he's spitting. This is crazy.
We are going to enforce immigration law. We're going to protect the American people.
Yeah.
Donald Trump promised...
So can we call him President-elect Vance yet, or do we still have to wait for like the formalities? I'm just asking in chat, just so I don't know the exact correct terminologies.
To do that, and I believe the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, if they're worried about the humanitarian costs of immigration enforcement, let them talk about the children who have been sex trafficked because of the wide open border of Joe Biden.
God, defending a rapist is doing a disservice to victims. Protecting a child trafficker is doing a disservice to children. Justice is important because without justice, you are a monster. I'm sorry. Every plea of innocent is guilty of wasting my time. This is insane. I am shocked and appalled that people actually have this opinion. Holy crap. This is wild.
You personally...
We're watching a man beat up a mentally handicapped woman on camera right now, and I'm enjoying it immensely.
Talk about people like Laken Riley who were brutally murdered. I support us doing law enforcement against violent criminals.
And I love that she's bringing like Christianity into this. Have you read the Bible, lady? Are you aware that the Bible is very big into punishment? Do you know that it literally says in the Bible, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth? Like, bro, it's in the book. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Do you think God would be all for arresting a rapist? I think he would. In fact, he might go a little further. Have you seen what God's been up to in the Bible?
Whether they're illegal immigrants or anybody else, in a way that keeps us safe. Let me ask this question. Let's separate the immigration issue. If you had a violent murderer in a school, of course I want law.
Yes! What is she talking about? Would you arrest him in a school? Retard. That is the best place to arrest him.
Law enforcement to go and get that person out.
Of course.
So what's the
Of course, she says. Even though she literally said the opposite of that 5 minutes ago.
point of the question?
You changed the regulation this week. That's the point of the question.
Exactly.
Giving the authority to go into churches, go into schools.
We empowered law enforcement to enforce
But
the
that
law
also
everywhere
has
to protect
knock-on
Americans.
effect, a chilling effect, arguably, to people to not send their kids to school.
I desperately hope it has a
What are you talking? Is she really floundering this hard to try to come up with something to say?
chilling effect on
church,
illegal
you think
immigrants.
Didn't God impregnate a 12-year-old girl against her will? I never read the New Testament. I'm Jewish, so don't quiz me on Paul, okay? I'm just saying.
coming
U.S.
into our
Conference
country.
of Catholic Bishops are actively hiding criminals from
I think the U.S.
law
Conference
enforcement?
of Catholic Bishops has frankly not been a good partner in common sense immigration enforcement that the American people voted for. And I hope, again, as a devout Catholic, that they'll do better.
Holy crap. Bro, dude is cooking. Every single response was like actual class. Yeah, the New Testament, that's the DLC. I didn't get there yet. But yeah, this is crazy. Holy crap.
There are 5 legal challenges already to one of the other immigration actions.
What is this fake smile?
Do better.
There are 5 legal challenges already to one of the other.
What the fuck is this? Bro, this is some Dolores Umbridge shit. When she gave Harry Potter the pen saying I must tell no lies. Like, what is going on? Does she know she looks like this? Like, this is some Joker shit. Taking a screenshot, we add this to the collage. Yes, sir. That's what we do. Got no choice. I'm just saying. That's crazy. I love how she keeps trying to outsmart him every single time, but he's just dismantling her. It's like she read a couple of classic, like, liberal talking points and thinks she could actually tussle with the big dogs. This is insanity.
Other immigration actions, the order on birthright citizenship. A federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan, I think you'd agree, has some...
What does that mean? Wow, why does that mean anything? Oh my God.
Conservative credentials.
Sure.
Paused the order to end birthright citizenship, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. How do you reconcile this challenge to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution?
So I obviously disagree with that judge, and these things, some of them
Dude, he just cooks. He cooks.
will be litigated. That's the nature of our constitutional system. But here's the basic idea of President Trump's view on this. If you are a lawful permanent resident or a legal immigrant who plans to stay, your children, of course, should become American citizens.
Are you not aware of the fact that a judge in ancient Rome literally paused this law? What are your thoughts on going against Slavic Adonis the 17th? What are you talking about?
But let's say you're the child of an ambassador. You don't become...
But that's not part of it.
Well, that is
already a carve-out
an
having to do
important
with kids of
principle.
difference.
But we're saying that carve-out should apply to anybody who doesn't plan to stay here. If you come here on vacation and you have a baby in an American hospital, that baby doesn't become an American citizen.
I mean, it's an exploit. Let's be real here. If American law was a video game, jumping into the United States illegally, having a baby in the US, and them being a citizen would absolutely be an exploit. That said, everyone uses exploits. But maybe it's time to patch it out. I don't know the answer, but I'm just saying.
If you're an illegal alien and you come here temporarily, hopefully, your child does not become an American citizen by virtue of just having been born on American soil. It's a very basic principle in American immigration law that if you want to become an American citizen and you've done it the right way, and the American people and their collective wisdom have welcomed you into our national community, then you become a citizen. But temporary residents, people who come in here, whether legally or illegally, and don't plan to stay, their children shouldn't become American citizens. I don't know any country that does that or why we would be different.
Bro, she is getting dismantled every sentence.
This is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country...
You're really going that route? Oh my God! Really going that route? Yeah, 250 years ago, there were immigrants. Bro, lady, what are you doing in America? You are literally a colonizer. Lady, you are literally a colonizer right now. How dare you sit in America? What are you trying to do? How much virtue signal do these people actually need to do?
A unique country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers, but just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world. No country says that temporary...
It was also founded by slaves. I don't personally think we should bring that shit back, but this lady might like that idea.
Visitors, their children will be given complete access to the benefits and blessings of American citizenship. America should actually look out for the interests of our citizens first, and that means, again, if you're here permanently and lawfully...
I love the argument is so insane. She's like, yes, because, some people give birth in America and have exploit the game to have an American child. That's the same as us, who are also immigrants. Lady, what the fuck are you talking about?
Your kid becomes an American citizen. If you're not here permanently, if you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and don't plan to be, why would we make those people's children American citizens permanently?
I want to ask you about refugee admission.
She doesn't answer the question. He asked you a basic question. Why would you not answer it? Is it because you have no answer? Oh my God.
Which were just suspended by the president. That has nothing to do with the U.S. border. Refugee screening takes 18 to 24 months to go through. They are heavily vetted. Left literally at the airport this week were thousands of Afghans. some of whom had worked with the United States government and were promised to come here. When you talked to us in August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. And
Oh, shit.
in fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been
30.
Okay, so my chat actually is advocating to throw JD Vance in prison because we are literally watching a grown man beat a mentally disabled woman on television. However, I do think this is self-defense. Personally, I think this definitely would stand up in court as self-defense. She is the one doing the attacking. He's merely fending off her flurry. So I would stand by Vance in this specific legal scenario. And as a Jew, I have 4,000 lawyer cousins that would all take this case happily.
1,000 in the pipeline Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the Vice President, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These
It's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy
He
who
just said he thinks the vetting process is bad. Well, can you stop trying to get a gotcha moment and actually listen for 3 seconds?
planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago. He was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media.
Oh my god, she's dead. He literally just murdered her. Bro, so calmly. Dude, look at this shit.
Of unvetted people into our country,
These
it's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago.
Bro, it's over. He just killed her. Oh, they're vetted? Like the terrorist? Fuck. What are you gonna say, bro? Bro had receipts! He had receipts!
He was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly, he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly
God
vetted.
damn!
And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
President-elect Vance is cooking. Again, this is crazy. I hope the Democratic Party comes up with something good. But if they don't come up with anything good, bro's literally just gonna roll straight into the next presidency. Wow, holy crap.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here.
Oh, get out of here! Are you serious? Wait. So there's an illegal immigrant terrorist, and you think that they got radicalized in America. So then the vetting didn't do a good job checking into their mental health. What are you talking about?
Or
oh my god.
while he was living
I
here.
don't really
But
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and
Fuck you spitting.
I think most Americans agree with me.
Yeah, 100%. He's not an American citizen. Why should we risk our people? Oh my god.
2 weeks ago, you were on Fox News and you said, if you protest
She has nothing to say. She just starts the next question. Grade A copium. Does she know how badly she's getting demolished?
peacefully on January 6th and had
All
merit.
right, I have a message for all people that were deported from the United States of America. Bye! Bye! All right, that was the message. Clip it and ship it.
Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Did you counsel the president against these blanket pardons for 1,500 people,
Well, Margaret, I noticed
including those who committed violence?
Margaret, I noticed that you cut off the thing that I said immediately after that.
Nothing's getting past him. What is going on? He's murdering her.
The full quote is that, of course, there are gray areas. And here's the nature of the gray area. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice denied constitutional protections in the prosecutions.
Oh, God.
There were double standards in
Oh, my
how
Lord.
sentences were applied to the J6 protesters versus other groups. What the president said consistently on the campaign is he was going to
basis.
look at a case-by-case basis.
This is blanket.
And that's exactly what we did. We looked at 1,600
Oh,
cases.
God.
And the thing that came out of it, Margaret, is that there was a massive denial of due process of liberty, and a lot of people were denied their constitutional rights. The president believes that, I believe that, and I think he made the right
Dude.
decision.
Daniel Rodriguez used
He murdered her. I don't understand. This is crazy.
an electroshock weapon against a policeman who was dragged out of the defensive line by plunging it into the officer's neck. He was imprisoned, sentenced to 12 years, 7 months. He got a pardon. Ronald Maccabee hit a cop while wearing reinforced brass knuckle gloves, and he held one down on the ground as other rioters assailed
Look how he's just silently letting her get her all out. Get her
the
all out.
officer for over 20 seconds, causing a concussion. If you stand with law enforcement, how can you call these people unjustly imprisoned?
Margaret, you're separating, there's an important issue here. There's what the people actually did on January the 6th, and we're not saying that everybody did everything perfectly. And then what did Merrick Garland's Department of Justice do in unjustly prosecuting well over 1,000 Americans in a way that was politically motivated?
Is violence like that against a police officer ever justified?
She keeps reframing the question. Just let him answer. Again, I personally don't like the concept of presidential pardons. I know that this is like an incredibly hot take. I don't like presidential pardons in general. I don't like that Biden got 8,000 pardons because he pardoned 8,000 people. I don't like that Trump's pardoning all these people. I don't like the idea of a presidential pardon. I think there needs to be some sort of law. The issue is the process. The argument is, I don't know how true this is, but the argument is there absolutely is not. The argument made is that there was not fair treatment to all the Jan 6 people. And I don't think 1,500 of them were violent. So, again, I think if someone assaults a police officer, they should actually be in prison, to be honest. Obviously, not if it was self-defense, or not if it was incited by someone else. I think some of those people were warranted. I don't like the idea of a blanket pardon, because I don't like pardons in general. But that's my personal opinion.
Violence against a police officer is not justified, but that doesn't mean that you should have Merrick Garland's weaponized Department of Justice expose you to incredibly unfair process, to denial of constitutional rights, and frankly, to a double standard that was not applied to many people, including, of course, the Black Lives Matter rioters who killed over 24 people and never had the weight of a weaponized Department of Justice come against them.
Yeah! I mean, what are you going to say about that?
The pardon power is not just for people who are angels or people who are perfect. And of course, we love our law enforcement and want people to be peaceful with everybody, but especially with our good cops. That's a separate issue from what Merrick Garland's Department of Justice did. We rectified a wrong, and I stand by it.
I'm being told we're out of time, but I want to quickly ask you, the richest men in the world were at that Capitol on Inauguration Day. Heads of Amazon, Google, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. In August, you told us Google and Facebook are too big. We ought to take the Teddy Roosevelt approach. Break them up. Don't let them control what people
The classic you flipped situation.
are allowed to say. They've now donated to the Trump inauguration. Are you still going to break up big tech?
So, you know who else was at the inauguration was my mom, and a lot of people who just supported the president and fought every single day to get his election.
They gave $1 million to the inauguration.
And there were a lot of people who didn't give $1 million.
Yeah, pretty good seating.
Who were on that stage. They didn't have as good a seating as my mom. And a lot of other people who were there to support us. But look, we believe really that big tech does have too much power, and there are two ways they can go about this. They can either respect Americans' constitutional rights. They can stop engaging in censorship, and if they don't, you can be absolutely sure that Donald Trump's leadership is not going to look too kindly on them.
Right, he still answered the question anyway, even though he didn't have to. Yeah, that's crazy.
So they're still on notice.
They're very much on notice.
Yeah, well, to be honest, they're all flip-floppers, they're all grifters. They donated to the Democrats, now they're donating to the Republicans. They're trying their best to be in the good graces of the people in power. And let's be real, probably nothing will happen to them because they're too rich and powerful for that shit. And Diddy's house burnt down in the LA fires. Coincidence? So we're not going to get any information on all that. Next, when you become president, would you pardon everyone? Yes. I disagree fundamentally with the comment with pardons. I fundamentally disagree with the concept of a presidential pardon that could go against the legal system. But if I became president, I would pardon the fuck out of everyone. Just saying. Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. President-elect Vance fucking cooked. That was crazy. I have never seen this man in a debate, and he, since the vice president debate, and he is a machine, bro. That was crazy. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm still sick, but this put a smile on my face. Holy shit, he beat up a woman on national television. Let's go. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.